Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Financial Astrology. Well, this video here, this is one of the inauguration videos, as it were, or one of the first videos that I'm shooting here on this new channel of mine. So welcome to any of those of you that know my other channel, which is Hogarth's Global Astrology, or if you are new to this channel entirely, then welcome. So nice to have you here. All right, so what am I going to talk about today? So much is going to change. Yep, so much is going to change as we embark on 2025 and the years beyond. We're going to see an absolute revolution in the world of finance. Yeah, finance, commerce, money, contracts, digital contracts. So many different things are going to emerge into the public that we have not seen before. So much of what this channel is about is to kind of like discuss those things, discuss those changes, keep you up to date and informed on what is happening either in your own country or internationally, how the rules and regulations will evolve with time. And I think one of the important things to understand is that there has been a quiet revolution happening in the world of finance, particularly in terms of things like cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, which many of you would have heard of, but not necessarily be familiar with. Many of you, quite understandably, will be reticent or unsure or even suspicious of these new innovations, which is understandable. However, this is the future. Yeah, the future has arrived. Essentially, the future is already here. And there are certain planetary influences that are contributing to those changes. And they've always happened throughout all of human history. We've always had ups and downs, adjustments, corrections, etc. And this is a natural part of life. This is a natural part of being a human being. This is a natural part of Earth School, being here on planet Earth. But what we're going to see happening, particularly over the next 7 to 8 years, will really be extraordinary and will be a true revolution and transformation of how commerce is done around the world on a personal level, on a national level, and on an international level. So really what this presentation is about today is about the planet Uranus. Yep, the planet Uranus. This is an extraordinary planet. This is a planet of innovation and revelation and revolution. It is key to some of the most transformative events that have happened in human history. Uranus is a shock of the new. And one of the things I'll be doing is I'll be reading from sections of my book here, which is called The Candid Guide to Neo-Vedic Astrology. Many of those who are familiar with my other channel will be familiar with this book, but if you are new, this is a book that I published in 2024 to basically give people an overview of how astrology works. So of course you have Western astrology, Western tropical, which most of us use in the West, but I use the Indian-based system of astrology because it is very, very accurate. And essentially what it means is it takes into account the phenomena which is called the precession of the equinoxes, because the stars are actually slowly moving backwards by 1 degree every 71/72 years. Now that's not very fast, admittedly, but over time it adds up. So in truth, most of the zodiac has basically moved backwards. Yeah, it's moved backwards by almost a whole zodiac sign. The overlap between the two now is only about 6 degrees. Yeah? So I don't want to kind of go in too much with the detail, etc. of all of that. All of that stuff is described in my book in the first pages, just to give everyone that context and understanding. But of course, this is Hogarth's financial astrology. So why I want to wanting to talk about Uranus is because of that huge impact that Uranus is going to make on finances. And it is to do with the signs that it's transiting in. So whatever planet, be it Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, etc., whatever sign is transiting through at the time, it will bring, or it will manifest its innate qualities via the innate qualities of that sign. Yeah. So what's important to understand is that recently, on the 1st of June 2024, planet Uranus started its entrance into sidereal Taurus. Yep, sidereal Taurus. Now, for Western astrology, Uranus has already been there, yeah, because they're 24 degrees ahead of the true placements of the stars, because the stars have actually been slowly moving backwards. Do you see what I mean? They still read the old placement. So in Western astrology, Uranus has been in Taurus for a while, but really the true entrance was on the 1st of June 2024. And at that time, in previous videos, I said the global financial system will change. And a very important thing happened on the 9th of June, approximately. It was 8th or the 9th. That was when the contract on the petrodollar was not renewed. Yeah, was not renewed. Now, this is very, very important because, of course, the petrodollar is extremely significant because it is part of what contributes to the US dollar being the global reserve currency. So already that was a remarkable change. One, I would say, of great significance, even since the Second World War. Yeah. But it wasn't widely reported around the world, but it shows a significant change, a significant evolution in terms of how global finance is working. Now, before I talk about some of the things, I've made notes here, plenty of notes in terms of the things that we can expect with this transit of Uranus through sidereal Taurus. But the reason why it's so significant is because Taurus deals with values. Taurus deals with asset classes of all kinds. Taurus deals with money, finance, security. So if we think of, for example, Taurus represents anything of tangible value. So this can talk about things like gold, for example, like if you have a bar of gold or a bar of silver, stuff like that. Taurus can also talk about food, nutrition, also about artwork as well. I often very much associate Taurus as well with sculpture, with singing. Yeah, it's also associated with the voice, speech, communication, that kind of thing, essentially values. And on the 1st of June, Uranus moved into that sign, which meaning that Uranian energy was going to be brought to all of those subjects, all those areas of life that I've just mentioned. So here, I'm just going here to page 233 of my book, which is, I call this the Wizards, Innovation, Stories and Control. So this is where I talk about planet Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, which are the key planets. These are the outer planets. And these planets are key. They change all of society. And in a previous video that I made on my other channel, and I'll try and link it to this video below, I do truly believe us to be in the era of the outer planets. Yeah, we're just in an extremely transformative time in human history. Yeah, in human history. But I just want to read you some of the quirks of Uranus, so you can understand how these energies are being brought to the values and the security element and the financial element and the asset class elements of Taurus. Yeah. So here we are. So chapter 12 here. And I put here Uranus, the wizard of technology, rebellion, and liberation. That's really what Uranus represents. So it is the co-ruler of Aquarius. along with Saturn, planet Saturn, and Rahu, the north node of the moon, which is understood in Vedic astrology. I am a Neo-Vedic astrologer, so it means I follow the principles of traditional Vedic astrology, but I also include the outer planets, and I also look at Ceres and Chiron. So I'm looking at 14 factors at any given chart, either a person's personal chart, which I do plenty of, or the chart of a nation. Yeah. So the element associated with Uranus is lightning and electricity. So straight away you see here that Uranus is a very modern planet. It's also a very quirky planet. Uranus actually orbits on its side. Yeah, the Earth, as the Earth turns, it's on an axis of almost 24 degrees, 23 degrees and loose change, and it goes around the Earth. Yeah, this is the axis. Uranus, it rotates on its side. Yeah, it's a very unconventional planet, and this is why it's associated with mavericks and stuff like that. So here, so Uranus represents sudden shocks and surprises in 7 to 8 year epochs of innovation and new concepts, revolutions of all kinds, rebellions, rebels, and liberation. Yeah, so this is a very tumultuous planet. It also represents the sciences, Newtonian science, which we all understand as the basis of modern conventional science, astrophysics, and quantum physics. Now, the quantum part is very, very important, because those of you watching who have this particular interest, particularly as well if you have interest in crypto, etc., or stuff like that, will also know that Google recently released the world's first quantum chip. It's called Willow, and they released that on the 9th of December 2024. Yeah, 9th of December 2024 is when they released that chip. Now, this quantum chip can do in 5 minutes what it would take all of the most currently powerful computers. What was it? It was 10 septillion years. Yeah, which, from what I understand, a septillion is basically 24 zeros. Yeah, after. So so you'd have the number 1, and then you'd have 24 zeros. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I hope I've remembered that correctly. But 10 septillion years. It did it in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So Uranus is that energy of the quantum. Yeah, it's seen as the higher octave of Mercury, but Uranus is truly extremely futuristic. Extremely futuristic. It also deals with mavericks, eccentrics, the unusual, innovation, and quirkiness. Also deals with geniuses, wizards, advanced technologies, AI, and cryptocurrencies. Yeah, and the list continues down there. I mean, I don't want to kind of drag on too long about that. So you can imagine this planet of innovation is coming into this very stable sign of Taurus, which deals with traditions, understood theories, accepted logic. Earth signs are down to earth and materialistic. Taurus is the most Earth-like of all the Earth signs. Yeah, because it's fixed in nature, it's fixed Earth. So for those that are familiar with some of the terminologies of astrology, you have fixed, you have cardinal, and you have mutable. Yeah, so a mutable sign means it's changeable, it's adaptable. So the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. Then you have the cardinal signs, and the cardinal signs. Oh, actually, is there another one that I'm missing? Pisces. Pisces is also mutable, because there's 4 in each one. Then you have the cardinal signs, which means they are initiatory, more inclined to take action, and those are Aries, the sign of Cancer, the sign of Libra, and the other one is Capricorn. And then you have the fixed signs. Now, these signs are to do with determination, sometimes even stubbornness as well. But they have an enduring quality. And those signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Yeah. So those are the fixed signs. So Taurus is fixed earth. So it deals with the tangible. It deals with what is familiar, you know, the outside world. It deals with Gaia. It deals with farming. Yeah. Farming, nutrition, values, all of those kinds of things. So imagine what happens when you have this very radical planet, Uranus, making its transition through this sign. Now, Uranus takes about 84 years to go around the sun. So the last time that Uranus was in the sign of Taurus was about 84 years ago. Now, if one casts one's mind back, you know, that was quite a tumultuous time on planet Earth because everything gets shaken up. Uranus can also be associated, particularly when he's in Earth signs, with earthquakes, yeah, because it's the shock, yeah, shock, vibration, energy. But he also deals a tremendous amount with innovation as well. So when I was looking at this upcoming transit, I reached the natural conclusion. I was like, oh my goodness, it means everything in the world of finance is going to change. How could it not? Yeah, if you have this planet of revolution and innovation and technology coming in. So part of the inspiration for creating this channel was when I realized, I thought, well, okay, Uranus is effectively a digital planet, a digital and quantum planet. So I thought, gosh, if the digital planet is coming into the sign of currencies and finance, then obviously it's like, wow, the era of digital currencies would be here. Now, I know many people may be skeptical about these currencies, etc., and I can understand because they're very new, they're very innovative. But in terms of global governance and global finance and the banking industry, these they're not only here, they are going to start to become the norm. So this is really what this channel is about, to kind of give you guys the heads up of how things are transforming. Yeah, particularly and then what I'll do is later on I'll do little kind of mini deep dives into what these currencies are about and how they're going to be used in the world and how they're going to affect global finance going forward. But I'm just going to read you off here. My list is actually quite a long list of things to say, but I think it's important to get these covered because I want this to be a video that people can reference again and again and again. They can come back to it, look at it and be like, aha, oh yes, I remember that this is what Hogarth said. Ah, yes, I remember he mentioned this, he mentioned that. So it is quite a lot of transformation coming. All right, so let's start with the basics. So at the moment, planet Uranus is currently in sidereal Aries at the time of making this video, but it's only a temporary phase. In the spring, it will return back to sidereal Taurus. Yeah, it will turn back to sidereal Taurus. So let's see here. So Uranus re-entered sidereal Aries on the 12th of December 2024. Yeah. And then it is going to go back into sidereal Taurus, if I remember correctly, on, oh crikey, I think it's the 29th of March 2025. I think that's when it goes back. I'll have to double check that one, but it is the spring of 2025 for sure, absolutely. So let's see here. So I put actually here, so I put here Uranus will be in Aries and it will go in at 29. It's currently at 29 degrees of Aries, sidereal Aries, and will be there until the 19th of March 2024. So what it means is on the 19th of March 2024, Uranus will go back into sidereal Taurus. So remember, it went in on the 1st of June 2024. stayed there for a while, went direct, then started going retrograde. It is now retrograded back into Aries, sidereal Aries, and it's sitting at the 29th degree. Now, the 29th degree is very important in astrology because that is often the degree of completion of endings. Yeah, so it's showing that Uranus is literally finishing up that energy of Aries, which of course is innovation. Yeah, Aries is the sign of pioneering innovation. So while Uranus was in sidereal Aries, we saw tremendous innovations in the world of tech. This is where a lot of this time of blockchain, etc., was being perfected, developed, harnessed. And then what happens is when a planet goes into sidereal Taurus, this is when it starts to become manifest, because earth signs are very manifesting, particularly Taurus. Yeah, so just to cover that ground. So yeah, it will go back into sidereal Taurus on the 19th of the 3rd, 2024, which actually is the day before the inauguration. Yeah, many of you will have noticed that. Oh, no, what I'm talking, no, ignore that. I've put here the day before the inauguration. That's not true. That's happening on the 20th of January. And that should be 2025, not 2024. Forgive me, folks. So I'll just say that part again. Uranus will be in Aries at the 29th degree of sidereal Aries, and there until the 19th of March 2025. Forgive me, 2025. Anyway, so however, when Aries is in Aries, it can stoke hostilities and feelings of rebellion. Yeah, we see that actually happen quite a lot in politics right now. But this also has the energy of innovation, developments, to continue with tech, and people connected to tech-based industries. And I've written here, however, it will not fully manifest the energy of Taurus until it's about 1 to 2 degrees of sidereal Taurus. This is what I found. So even though it will return on the 19th of April 2025, it's going to be more like a couple of months after that. Once Uranus really starts getting going again in Taurus, that we'll really begin to see a lot of these big implementations, particularly things with cryptocurrencies and stuff. This is when it's really going to start hitting the news in the spring and onwards. Now here, I've written here on January 3rd, 2025, which is a crucial time, particularly for US viewers that might be watching this video. Pluto and Mars will be in exact opposition to each other. So this is also a bit of a 2025 prediction as well, and the years beyond. Pluto will be at 6 degrees and 55 minutes of sidereal Capricorn, and Mars will be at 6 degrees and 55 minutes of sidereal Cancer at 7:42 a.m. London time, or 2:42 a.m. Eastern time, USA. Yeah. Now, this turns out this is a very important date. So what I'm writing here, this could do with power struggles and arguments based around influences in government, yeah, and governments. There will be much talk about the power of oligarchy and a Plutonian, which is a Plutonian energy, and how government is being influenced by oligarchs. Yeah. Now, isn't this topical? Yeah, because at the time of making this video, there is a big debate going on right now, and a big arguments going on right now to do with a certain Elon Musk and his influence over the next administration that is due to come in at the time of making this video. Yeah, so make a mental note of that. Also, as well, in this time as well, Mars, when it sits in the sign of Cancer, it will be in its sign of debilitation. So it doesn't necessarily bring out the best qualities in Mars. However, what I've found is that when Mars is debilitated, because Mars is associated with war, yeah, war, violence, but not just that. He's also sport. He's also energy. He's also passion. And really, when Mars is in the sign of Cancer, it's more like guerrilla warfare. Something it has more of that Vietnam kind of quality to it in that sense. It's not always so overtly open, it can be more hidden. It can be more like booby traps, or it can deal more with cunning plans. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And it also can also deal with emotions. So I said the emotions here could spill over, especially as Uranus will be squaring both planets, adding friction and energy. Yeah. So where Uranus is at that time, it will be squaring, which means it will be 4 signs away from the sign of Cancer and 4 signs away from the sign of Capricorn. And Pluto and Mars will be opposite each other. And oppositions are always very triggering. They have a lot of powerful energy. So you can imagine this is Pluto, which is considered the god of the underworld. And then Mars, which is the planet of conflict, will be opposite each other, charging up each other's energy. Pluto is also considered the higher octave of Mars. So you see, this can be quite explosive, and this will be coming exact on January 3rd, 2025. Yeah. So adding friction and energy. And I put here, this also means the potential for something surprising and shocking could happen. Yeah, because of this Uranian energy. There could be protests within America and also as well the wider world. Especially as Uranus is the planet of revolution, lightning, and unexpected events. So remember, this is also the revolutionary planet. And I put here key events. So members of the House of Representatives and the Senate will be sworn in on January 3rd while this opposition and squaring is happening. Then the counting and the certification of the electoral votes will be happening on January 6th, 2025. Yeah. So just think, this is actually really quite a volcanic time, isn't it? This from what I understand, protests are being planned as well, particularly leading up to and maybe even on the inauguration day itself. Yeah. So you see how this energy here is building. And let's go on to the next page so you can see. And then I've put here, from the 19th of March 2025, Uranus will remain in Taurus until the 21st of April 2032. Yeah. So this is a full 7 years. Yeah, a full 7 years. So when it re-enters Taurus and continues its transit, this is when we're going to see these the biggest transformations in terms of global finance, etc. So I've written here, this will be a time when we see the biggest changes to finance and asset classes the world has ever seen. These are likely to become cemented when Saturn, now Saturn is the planet of reality, Saturn is the planet of government, and infrastructure and big systems of all kinds. So Saturn will enter sidereal Taurus on the 17th of April 2030. Yeah, 2030. Now, for those of you that are interested and those who may not know this, but this is also referred to, there is also such a thing called Project 2030. I don't know if you guys know about that. And this is also connected with the global reset. Now, remember, Saturn is the planet of governments, and he will be entering sidereal Taurus, like I said, on the 17th of April 2030. So this is often when all things to do with government become solidified, actualized. Yeah. Saturn spends about 2.5 years in each sign. So he's going to enter sidereal Pisces on the 29th of March. Yeah, it is actually the 29th of March 2025. Yeah, which I'm calling the Great Awakening. So I might have to make a separate video on that. I've talked about it before, but but it's such a big thing and I don't want this video to get too long. So you can see that's when Saturn, the planet of government, it's also a planet of finance, actually comes into the sign of Taurus, which already deals with asset classes of all kinds, will be joining Uranus there. So for me, that is when it actually becomes solidified on that global level. It will be happening before that anyway, but this is when it may become completely concrete by this point. So, and I put here in this time, so in this 7-year transit of Uranus, in this time we are likely to see the phasing out of cash. Yeah, cryptocurrencies, which are unfamiliar now, will become the norm. Yeah, this is one of the things that I see. AI will become much significant, AI dominance. We will even have things to do with transhumanism as well. I'm not wanting to spook people out, but I'm just talking about this is what this of Uranus in Taurus can mean. So transhumanism, i.e. technology integrated in the body, especially as Taurus is the sign that most represents the body and Mother Earth Gaia. Yeah, so we're also going to see lots of innovations in terms of food and stuff like that. I've put here lab produced foods are much more likely. I've put innovations in farming practices. Yeah, so we're already seeing this already in terms of we're seeing a lot of farmers protesting around the world. Yeah, because some of the changes that are already being implemented, but are more likely to be more fully realized or unavoidable as time goes forward. Digital currencies and stable coins likely will become the norm. So I've repeated myself there. Stable currencies or stable coins are essentially the digital equivalent of fiat. Yeah. So we'll have the digital dollar, the digital pound, the digital yuan, etc. I've put here full tokenization of asset classes of all kinds, especially property, real estate, digital renting contracts, fully digitalized companies, cars, kitchen appliances, and any asset class will have its digital twin. Yeah. So what it means is in the future, you're going to be able to buy, like property will also be tokenized. So what will happen is, say if you're in the UK or in America and you're wanting, or somewhere else in the world, and you have a property to sell, and say you want to buy a property in Brazil, yeah, and your properties are tokenized on the ledger. What will happen is you will talk to that seller, and the two of you will reach an agreement, like I want your house and they want your house. And then what will happen is that you will exchange a digital contract. Now, this digital contract will be based on blockchain, so it'll be extremely secure, but it's also going to be legally binding. So you'll exchange the digital contract and then you will exchange the funds. Now, part of how those funds are going to be exchanged is going to use something, either it will use something called XRP, which is it's a form of digital currency. And it is from a company called Ripple, and the CEO of that company is someone called Brad Garlinghouse. Now I'm going to do a deep dive on him very soon, so that because this channel is about also as well making you familiar with the movers and shakers in this space, so you can see where this innovation is coming from and who the main characters are and what their charts are like as well. So I've done research on his chart, and I'll be doing a video very soon. So that is going to be part of the continuing series as well on this channel, where we're really diving in and understanding these people. But Ripple will effectively replace the SWIFT banking system. And what it means is that most transactions will be able to happen in 5 seconds or less. It's actually more like 2 seconds, actually. That's how fast this stuff is. And it's also very cheap. And it doesn't use a lot of mining energy, unlike a Bitcoin, for example, which, it does use a tremendous amount of energy. So this is likely to be taken up by the banking system, and most of the banking system are already on board. They were just waiting for regulation. That regulation in particular was coming from the SEC, which is a governing body in the United States. Its current chairman, outgoing chairman, a man called Gary Gensler, has basically announced his retirement, because with each new administration, you get a new chair of the SEC. And this has led to a big transformation, because this was a big regulatory stumbling block for XRP, but a lot of other cryptocurrencies as well, and exchanges were also affected. So you can see there's a tremendous amount of change happening. Again, not in the mainstream news, but this has been happening behind the scenes, as it were. Yeah. So, and this is why I've created this channel, because this stuff is so important to talk about, because everything is changing. Yeah. So you will have these digital assets. You'll exchange a digital contract, and you will basically own that house or own that object pretty much instantaneously. Yeah. Okay, I'll put here, due to AI, almost everything will be automated. Yeah, so there'll be tremendous, even more levels of automation, which of course will affect people's jobs and work and stuff like that. So we need to look at that as well. Self-driving technology likely to be perfected, especially for lorries, cargo, and freight. Yeah. Now, at the moment, there are still some issues with self-driving, as we've seen a certain person's self-driving cars have been in the news at the time of doing this, for causing crashes, etc., and stuff like that. But that is likely to be far improved, particularly with these quantum chips. Yeah. Medical screenings and diagnosis likely to be greatly assisted by AI. So in the future, when you go to have a medical appointments, etc., you're going to be scanned essentially, and the AI algorithms, etc., are going to be looking through your body and figuring out that stuff. So we'll still have doctors, of course, but we'll also have digital doctors as well. This is something that I see. It's already happening, but it will become mainstream by this point. I put here digital head implants already being developed and experimented in with Elon Musk as well via Neuralink. Yeah. I'm not planning to go for anything like that, but you know, it's where I draw the line personally. But this is already being developed. He's already had clearance, and I think these projects are well underway. I think he's probably a year, 18 months in terms of the human trial. So it involves removing part of the skull, circular part of the skull, and putting a chip in with these electrodes that connect to the brain. Yeah. So that is already in development, but you can imagine 7 years from now, 7 years and loose change from now, imagine how much more advanced that would be, particularly now that we have quantum chips. Yeah, so you see the logic here. So yes, so Neuralink technology will likely be at the quantum chip level by the end of this transit. And just to finish up on the last page, unless resisted, social credit scores could become the norm. Yeah. So I would urge, you know, again, this might already be a bit controversial for one of my first videos on this channel, but they already do have social credit scores in places like China, etc. Those may be widened out. Not guaranteed, obviously, if people resist it, but it's a definite possibility. However, I put here, groups of people will gather together to buy land and grow crops in collectives. This will increase. So part of the solution to that is that you'll have a lot of people that will be opting out of the system. Yeah, opting out of the system. And it is one of my goals, actually, to live in a place that is self-sustaining, out of the system. Not that I'm a Luddite, you know, I believe in the virtues of technology. I mean, I'm bringing this to you now via technology, and of course YouTube, etc., is a brilliant, you know, platform for that. We all use technology every day. We all have a smartphone, but there's a difference between using technology and it being in your body, and that's not really what I'm down for, and on terms of my personal level. But many people will go for that option, particularly as the technology improves and develops and gets smaller. Yeah. It's very popular in Sweden, for example. A lot of people have got themselves chipped and all of this kind of stuff. Not my cup of tea, but many have gone for it. So, but why do I say that? So many people are going to want to opt out. Yeah, particularly as we get more things like smart cities, etc. But they're also going to want to look after their food, their provenance, because Taurus is the sign of food. Uranus is tech. So of course, and Uranus is also the co-ruler of Aquarius, which is also about the collectives, about the community. So you'll have collectives basically running their own shows, growing their own crops in their own communities, and probably energy independent as well. And I'm certainly looking at those options. I put here people's awareness about food production and how to make food more nutritious will increase greatly. Yeah, much of the developing world would have moved fully over to renewables, especially China. So now at this stage, this time of making the video, China is now the #1 producer of e-vehicles, electronic vehicles. They are transforming themselves in that way. There are some fights and some issues because some people feel that they're being unfairly assisted by the government, etc. But you can imagine what this will be doing in terms of the smog and a lot of those directly pollution issues that China has been facing over recent years that many of you will know. Imagine the revolutionary change that will be making for air quality and stuff like that. What I've put here is, well, the global south will have most of their energy either free or at much reduced cost. So at the moment, the global south of the planet is going ahead in terms of renewable energies. So this is solar, this is wind, this could be wave technology, anything that basically is producing energy without the use of fossil fuels. This is at this current stage at the time of making this video, but you can imagine where it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now, that much more advanced. I've put here the BRICS alliance will likely have much more influence. So BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But really it's an alliance. They've got an extra 8 countries that have already joined, and they've got another 40 odd at the time of making this video that also want to join. You can imagine, you know, when you're looking at this video in the future, you know, 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to look back and go, wow, okay, I remember Hogarth talking about this. Yeah, because this video is projecting into the future. A lot of this is already manifesting, but this will become fully realized in years from now. So definitely keep checking back on this video, because I want it to be a kind of a bit of an evergreen video, as it were, and it really will be. So smart cities will also start becoming a reality, particularly with Uranus in Gemini, sidereal Gemini, which happens from the 21st of April 2032. We will have smart cities. Yeah. Those, I mean, yeah, those would definitely, I think definitely by the end of that era, there'll be 1 or 2 experimental smart cities, but this is when we could see like Shanghai becoming a smart city, London becoming a smart city, etc. You know, there are many innovations to come. I've put here, many people will opt out of body/tech integration and gene therapies. So gene therapies are going to become a lot more common. They already exist, but with the quantum chips, of course, they'll be able to do a lot more, and instead become more holistic and use technology to harness and work with the power of Earth and nature. So there'll be a lot of people that are going to use technology in order to strengthen their relationship with Gaia. And I would certainly support that, because I'm pro-Earth. Yeah. And that kind of sums it up there. And then I'll put here the notes here for Brad Garlinghouse, which I said is a video to come. So that is the introduction of how I see the future basically playing out, this transit of Uranus in sidereal Taurus. There, a lot of the stuff people will find uncomfortable and disconcerting, because the energy of Uranus, that is the energy of Uranus, is quite a discombobulating energy. However, it also puts forward tremendous opportunities as well, tremendous opportunities for those that are prepared to embrace innovation and try new things. And we as individuals are going to have to set what our personal limits are. Where are we on that spectrum of innovation? How far along or how far deep do we want to go down the rabbit hole on that? So these are conversations and stuff that we will be having in the not too distant future, particularly as 2025 unfolds and beyond. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think about some of these things that I'm predicting are likely to happen Are you concerned, or are you kind of neutral or indifferent, or are you kind of like, you know, you're looking forward to these transformations and innovations? I would love to know your thoughts. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching this video, but please come back to it. Yeah, please come back to it. There's a lot of stuff in here that will unfold for the future, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And please, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and share to support this channel. So thanks so much. Much appreciated. See if I can